Section 701 Transaction Value System Method 1. The transaction value shall be the price actually paid or payable for the goods when sold for export to the Philippines, adjusted in accordance with the provision of the section, provided that there are no restrictions as to disposition or use of the goods by the buyer or restriction which are imposed or required by law or by the Philippines authorities, limit the geographical area in which the goods may be reloaded, or do not substantially affect the values of the goods. B. The sale of price is not subject to the some condition or consideration for which a sale value cannot be determined with respect to the goods being valued, and the buyer and the seller are not related, or where the buyer and the seller are related, that the transaction value is acceptable for custom purposes under the provision thereof. For purpose of this act, the person shall be deemed related only if there are officers or directors of one another's business. They are legally recognized partners in business. They are exist an employee or employer relationship between them. Any person directly or indirectly owns, controls, or hold 5% or more outstanding voting stocks or share, or both seller and buyer. One of them directly or indirectly controls the others. Both of them are directly or indirectly controlled by the third person. Together, they are directly or indirectly controlled by a third person, and their members of the same family, including those related by affinity or consanguinity, up to the fourth civil degree. Persons who are associated in business with another in that sole agent, sole distributor, or sole concessionaire, however described, or the other, shall be deemed to be related. Purpose of this act is within the 8 cases cited in the preceding paragraph. In sale between related persons, the transaction value shall be accepted as basis for custom valuation whenever the importer demonstrates that such value closely approximates the following occurring or about the same time. The transaction value is the sale or related buyers of identical or similar goods for export to the same country of importation. The customs value of identical or similar goods as determined under the provision of Section 704 of this Act. The custom value of the identical or similar goods are determined under the provision of the Section 705 of this Act. In determining the transaction value, the following shall be added to the price actually paid or payable for the imported goods, to the extent of that they are incurred by the buyer but are not included in the price actually paid or payable for the imported goods. Commission and brokerage fees except buying commission, cost of containers, cost of packing, whether for labor or materials. Value appointed as appropriate of the following goods and materials, components, parts, and similar items incorporated in the imported goods. Tools, dies, molds, and similar items used in the production of imported goods. Materials consumed in the production of the imported goods and engineering development, artwork, design work, and plans and sketches elsewhere than in the Philippines and necessary elsewhere in the Philippines and necessary for imported goods, which such goods and service are supplied directly or indirectly by the buyer free of charge, reduce cost for use in connection with the production and sale of for export of the imported goods. Amount of royalties and license fees related to the goods being valued that the buyer must pay either directly or indirectly as a condition of sale of the goods to the buyer. Value of any part of the proceeds of any subsequent resale, disposal, or use of the imported goods that occur directly or indirectly to the seller. The cost of transport of the imported goods from the port or exportation to the port of entry in the Philippines. Loading, unloading, and handling charges associated with the transport of the imported goods from the country importation to the port of entry in the Philippines, and cost of insurance. All addition to the price actually paid or payable shall be made only on the basis of objective and quantifiable data.